Hey everybody, happy Independent Venue Week. Welcome to the second session in the Sin City programme of discussions. I am your host today. I'm Rachel K. Collier. I'm a Swansea musician and I'm super excited to be hosting this session to meet all of you girls, hear what you've got to say. All these ladies are smashing it currently in the Swansea music scene. So we're going to meet you all, we're going to chat through some things and hopefully share a wealth of information with everybody watching right now. So I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to let the girls do their thing. Should we go over to Sian Adler first? Sian, do you want to tell us all about you, who you are, what you do, introduce yourself?
I feel awkward talking about myself. I hate it. But hi everyone, I'm Sian. I work as a creative director for Forte Project, and I've also joined the Beacons team as a project manager. Outside of that, I run a little production company called Trigger Happy Creative. So we film and produce music video content for local artists in Wales, and that's me.
Nice, amazing. Thank you, Sian. And let's head over to Stacey.
Hello, I'm Stacey. I know some of you, I don't know some of you. I'm a freelance DJ, so when it's not the pandemic, I'm normally traveling around the UK, playing various places every weekend. And I'm also a director of Penarth Sounds, which is a community radio station, which we set up in lockdown.
Ah, wicked. Oh, that sounds cool. And then let's go over to Caitlin.
Hiya, I'm Caitlin and I'm a promoter, marketing manager for my own little company, which is called Clue, CLW, and I'm also the marketing manager for Rose Parade Recording Company, which is a brand new recording label that started up in lockdown last year, which has been amazing. So really excited to get going with that.
Nice. So already some new lockdown projects emerging, which is good to hear. Let's go over to Caddy.
Hi, I'm Caddy. I'm part of the Sinsei team, and I'm also one half of the band Holy on Video, and I have my own freelance art venture called RX Caddy, and I do lots of artwork for bands around Swansea and Cardiff and stuff.
Nice, cool. And then let's
a bunch of information.
Yeah, a bunch of information. I'm sure there'll be all our links for all of you guys watching as well to do your stalking afterwards. And let's go, let's head down to Edith. Edie, how's it going?
Hi, I'm Edith. I'm a singer, producer, all around kind of everything kind of in creative sense. I like to kind of release my own music. I do kind of R&B, electronic soul. And I'm from Aberfan. That's where I'm currently living. And yeah, I've been a part of lots of really fun projects over the last year. And yeah, pleasure to be here. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Edie. Cool. So girls, we all know that the music industry is quite a crazy place. And for people who are like brand new to it, you know, just sort of thinking or dreaming they might want to get into it, it can probably seem quite daunting, like how to get your foot through the door. So I want to know, like, how did you find your first foot in the door in the industry? And Stacey, let's start with you, if that's okay.
I've got a really rubbish answer. I fell into it. I've always gone to gigs and stuff. Like my first gig ever was Michael Jackson in Cardiff Arms Park when I was 4. My mum took me, and I've still got amazing visual memories of it now. But so I've always really been into music. And then I used to work in the Virgin Record store in Cardiff. I used to look after the vinyl. And my mate Ben Potter used to be like the promoter for Buffalo. And he said to me, do you want to come and play some songs? And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I've just been DJing ever since. And that was in like 2007.
Oh, wow.
It's always my age.
It's always like that though, isn't it? It's always like this kind of weird way. And it's usually just by putting yourself out there in a way, isn't it? Or,
yeah.
You know, let's jump over to Sian.
How did I get started? Well, it started off, I was doing Trigger Happy with my boyfriend. So when I met him, we just accidentally started to work under the name Trigger Happy Creative, and we started to film music videos. And then from that, my friend Louise Schofield, she's a presenter, but she also worked for Forte Project at the time. So naturally, I think Lou and I were filming music videos for a lot of artists that were on Forte.
Right.
So eventually, when Louise left, Spike asked me if I wanted to come and join the team just to
Right.
help with gathering like visual assets for the artists.
Yeah.
At that point, I think like imposter syndrome hit me because I felt like, oh well, I like filming music videos, but I don't really know that much about the music industry. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Since I've started Forte, like working with the artists as well, like it's fab. Like it's very addictive. Like learning about the industry too.
Yeah.
Um,
And Wales is great for that, obviously, because we've got Forte, we've got Horizons. There are these like really cool projects which have doors into really cool things. For example, you know, Radio 1's Biggest Weekend, I got to play via Horizons, which is wicked. So yeah, nice. Oh, that's really cool, Sian. You have to looking forward to checking out some of your vids. I've seen some of the Trigger Happy vids. They're really cool. I've seen what's the one I loved? Is it what are they called, guys? The with the front girl, Katie
Chroma.
Chroma. That's it.
Girls
Yeah,
Talk. Yeah.
yeah. I love that one. That's great. Yeah.
I straddled a scooter, an electric scooter, a broken electric scooter to film that. And my boyfriend was just pushing me back and forth as we were filming the shot.
Oh, it's wicked, that video is. Yeah, thanks, Jan. Cool. And this and Caddy, what about you? How did you find your way in?
Well, from a young age, I was always obsessed with music anyway. I thought I was going to be the next Britney Spears when I was like 6. Obviously, did not happen. And then around like my teenage years, I started learning guitar and writing songs, and I had zero idea how I was going to break into the scene. But then in uni, I went to the open mic night and I met people and I became part of the community there. I met my boyfriend Sam and we started Holy on Video, and then we started playing open mics together. And then eventually I started working for Sin, where I am now, and so I'm like knee deep in the music scene now, which I love, and I still perform and I get to see loads of people play and like even organise who's going to play in Sin and stuff, which is great.
Wow, so you've got quite an all-round knowledge at the moment going on.
I'm not Britney Spears yet, but you know, we're getting there.
One day, babe, one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. That's one thing as well, which probably all of you guys have already noticed. It's kind of these days, it's not just about being a musician or being a photographer or we all have to dive a little bit deeper into everything. So that's really cool. And
my favorite thing is my favorite thing is learning that you don't just have to be the person on stage. Like you can be the person filming it, taking photos, doing the artwork, promoting it, etc. It's such a large community to be a part of. There's something for everyone.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, loads of because there's a lot to do to cover. Obviously, 1, making music, and then 2, promoting music, and then 3, obviously all the digital aspect of like getting your music out there. The list is long. Let's jump to Edie. So Edie, how did you get into it?
So I've always been interested in singing. Me and my sister entered a lot of Eisteddfods when we were younger. So I've grown up like being on stage a lot. So I already had like an interest in wanting to create like as I got older. But yeah, like Caddy said, I didn't really know how to get myself into that community. But I was kind of introduced to writing workshops and things like that when I was like a teenager. I wanted to pick up like an instrument and be able to play something live with me on stage. So I picked up the guitar, started writing, and it kind of evolved from there. Like I started working with people, being influenced by different artists. I got to know myself. I got to know my music, what I liked, what I didn't like. And that's when it kind of evolved into like electronic kind of setup with my Ableton stuff. And yeah, it's just been evolving since then. And like, as we've been talking about, you know, there's so many different aspects in the creative industry that you can be a part of. So I've tried to kind of use all of those skills by creating music videos and, you know, doing my own press releases and doing my own promo. And that's really kind of encouraged me to want to kind of progress further. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's great, Edie. And then finally, Caitlin, do you want to let us know how you sort of made your way into the industry?
Yeah, sure. So I actually started off wanting to be an actor.
Oh,
So
cool.
I went to university to study acting, decided it wasn't for me, but at the same time we were doing a lot of like promoting of our own shows so that we were putting on. So I kind of fell into the marketing part of that. And then fast forward about 2 years later, I was really lucky to get a job with Zoom Festival, so doing marketing for them, and then absolutely fell in love with the promoting side of gigs and festivals. And
Yeah.
decided, right, this is a bit of a boys' club. I want to start my own thing. So it kind of went from there. Then it was like, right, it was a bit of
Wow.
a, sorry for the cringe word, but it was a bit of a YOLO moment, and I just had to
Yeah.
go from there really. So yeah, like it's been like just doing my own thing and just booking the bands that I've wanted to, and then I'm very lucky. I've had really good mentors like on my side, so it's never been felt too difficult to do.
Yeah, that's
But
really
yeah, it's been a like massive like thing for me as someone who's like, oh, can I actually do this again, like an imposter syndrome thing.
Mhm.
And then just obviously with the pandemic as well, just stopping everything.
Yeah,
So
that
it's just like I've had to like adapt exactly what I do. So rather than just be a promoter now, I also do marketing and kind of like
yeah.
different management for bands and artists as well. So just using connections I have and just going from there really.
Wow, Caitlin, that's really cool. You basically just went for it because, because like what you just touched on then, we're all aware of it as women in the industry. Is there is quite a massive gender imbalance in probably like all of our fields here. Do you want to share? Any of you guys have any like experiences that that have affected you and you want to share?
I could go if anyone. I'm happy to share first.
I can see everyone's like, right, I need to share. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I get my list.
yeah, like Caddy's there with her dagger. Right, what,
Yeah.
So, well, do you want to kick it off, Caddy?
Oh, okay. I being a part of this is the main thing for me. Well, the few things. First of all, the open mic. If it just goes through my timeline, I guess then. When I started going to open mic, I was the only girl. Like there's like 15 other boys who'd go regularly, and all the other females were in the audience. So that was a bit new for me anyway. But then when I formed my duo with Sam, my boyfriend, our duo is absolutely equal. Like we harmonize, like everything is equal, and we stand in front of each other, like where we stand is actually equal. But everyone assumes I'm a backing singer, and it has really bugged me for years. And I think that's the thing that always gets me, even though our like voices are absolutely equal, we have the same amount of singing. It really bugs me that I'm just assumed to be a backing singer by so many people. Boys, sorry, not females, boys. So that's one thing. But
strike
yeah,
one.
yeah, strike one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my story. Someone else speak.
Someone else jump in. Who's
Yeah.
got?
I'll jump in if you want, especially like on the filming side of it.
Oof.
Like I don't know, like pre-production, Lou does like all of the filming and sometimes I'll jump in and help him. But like say if we have a project coming up and we have to rent like certain gear, like I've had it like once in the past, like we had to order like a specific lens and I just phoned the company to ask like, oh, do you have this? And then he was like explaining it to me as if I didn't know what it was. I was like, I know what it is, like why are you telling me? And he was like so condescending. I was like, oh my god, I turned into a right Karen. I was like, if you're just going to continue to talk down to me, I'm just going to take my business elsewhere. But like at first, like when I was starting with like Trigger Happy or Forte as well, it's you've definitely got to like find your confidence and just know when to put your foot down. Like don't let anyone like talk down to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard, but I don't know, the same like with you, Holly, because you've got your partner. I don't know if you like seek refuge in him, but a lot of the time, like luckily, like if someone's like not mistreating me, but like talking down to me, Lou was always there as well to be like my right hand guy or whatever, like my backup buddy.
Yeah. No, that must be. I can imagine those chats. It's like even when you go to like, Maplin back in the day or whatever, and they're like, yeah, God, it's painful, isn't it? And he's just like, yeah, shut up, like fuck off, like I know what I'm doing, like,
like at gigs as well, like if I'm at the front taking photos, like I remember I think it was like a gig in the Moon in like Cardiff, and the guy was like, he was asking me about my camera, And then I was like talking to him about that, and then I could see him, he was just asking more specific details. I think he was like trying to catch me out, and I was still answering. He was like, oh, so where's your boyfriend then? I was like, oh, what do you mean? He was like, oh, well, you're holding it for him, aren't you? I was like, what? I was like, okay, bye.
Oh,
Oh, deep breath.
oh my God.
Yeah,
I
no.
just
No.
give him a kindness, and then I just smile and walk away now.
Yeah, I think for women, it's like we have to sort of kind of prove ourselves more. That's how I
Yeah.
feel. But then it's funny then, because the ones that like I said, when we get the confidence to just go and do it, and then we have to have all this evidence to back us up, which is, but then in a way, you know what, that's great, because it means we're confident about what we do, and we're proud of what we do. But it's it's more just like you said, smile, try and ignore and get on with it, and try not to let it get to you too much, isn't it? Like YouTube is it can be pretty hardcore, some of the comments on there, get back to the kitchen and all of that. I just think, who are these people? Like, what century are they living in, It's quite hardcore. Stacey, I can see you nodding.
Oh, being a DJ,
Yeah.
the mansplaining, to use the phrase mansplaining,
Yeah.
it's always like, you'll get, say the tech is a guy.
Yeah.
So you're there, whatever, it's all set up ready for you, or it's not, and you're like going, oh, shall I help? Like, whatever. And they're like, no, I'll do it. So then one guy actually said to me once, just like, that's the volume, and like, just don't, if it's red, that's bad.
Oh.
And I was like, is it? Oh my God. And I you just play along with it. Like, and I've had like guys come up to the booth or whatever and say, oh, where's the DJ? And it's like, was me. And it's like, oh, you're actually quite good. And it's like, oh, thanks very much. I've only been doing this for like over 10 years, whatever. And then if there's any other person that's male in the booth, everyone will assume that's the DJ. And we'll go and speak. So like, I've got loads of like male friends, and if they come and visit me or whatever, or if my boyfriend's there, and it will be like, oh, mate, can you play this? And I go, excuse me, I'm the DJ. And no, you're not having your request. I don't care how good it is. You're not having it, because you've assumed, and you should never assume. So I have a list like that I could go on for hours about, but I won't.
I mean, I feel like if you're a girl in the industry, you will have some sort of list, don't you? Like, Edie, what about you, babe? Like, how have you found it? Like,
I think it's it's more like, if I'm filming for something, production companies, that can be difficult, because it can really make you feel small, and you miss that female energy. Like I found that the other day when I was filming something with a production company, and I was just like thinking, where are all the girls? Where are all the women? And also, I've been experienced times where I've been setting up with my Ableton stuff, and people, men have been questioning, oh, what's this part? Are you doing it like this, or are you doing it like that? And if I'm not doing it to their standard or their way, it's like, oh, well, you should do it like this. You should think about doing it that way, because that's the right way. Oh, it should go to this place, or it should, your feed should go to this place. And I want to be able to hear this, and it's like, it's disheartening, because, you're building something for yourself and it kind of feels like you're being taken down a notch. It's not, you're not doing a good enough job. But trying to fight through that, really, and just break that barrier.
That is, it's not cool. I've had dudes trying to touch my interface. I'm like, excuse me, this is mine, that is yours. It's definitely tricky. It's like, I think, but learning to just like suck it up in there and just crack on. And luckily, girls, we obviously haven't cracked, because we're still doing what we're doing. And, we are then making a difference on the up and coming then, like, even with social media and everything, like women being present, that whole thing of we can't be who we can't see. So we're taking the wrath, basically. So hopefully the future of young women won't have to go through so much pain. And Caitlin, obviously you've already said like it was a massive boys club, and that's what inspired you to actually start your own company.
Yeah, totally. So I'm like, that's the thing, like for me, because I've always worked around men, it hasn't like I'm just used to it now, and just like it's always going to be that, which is why I think with like Clue, I try to, whenever I'm doing a gig, I try to book a female or gender minority sound engineer if I can, and have like as many female or gender minority people on the bill, and just doing it that way, so it feels like you said, like you can't be what you can't see.
Yeah.
And for me as well, until very, very recently, I've never really wanted to put my face on like my promotion or anything, because I don't want it to seem like a kind of a narcissistic brand. Yeah, so that's part of it. Like but my main goal is obviously to be like to like give a platform to talent that I love, and rather than make it anything about me. So, but then I've come to like a point now where I want to like say, hi, I exist, I'm a woman doing this.
Yeah.
When you email me, you were emailing a girl, so don't be like, oh, hey guys, hey dude, or
Yeah.
whatever. Not that I mind it, but it's
Yeah.
just like, come
Yeah.
on, like make a bit more of an effort to find out who I am and whatever.
Yeah, just not like the
Yeah.
face. You don't want to be like a faceless brand kind of thing. You want to
Yeah.
stand proud of it. And actually, there's, you know, that is one cool thing actually for women right now. There are, especially in like the songwriting production kind of world, there are a lot of initiatives, you know, even like within the PRS, you guys have probably seen the 50-50 gender that they're trying to like impose now on festivals and stuff. So there's like a 50-50 women, men lineup. And yeah, and there are things you can get involved with, like these women only initiatives. So I feel like we're like a, you know, a little fighting sort of the underdogs are, you know, it's not a bad time for us to you know, make an impact, and we've got support from these other initiatives and stuff like that. And then, you know, the platforms that we've got in Wales are always very, very good with the gender split, and, you know, so that's quite cool as well. Yeah, have you girls got anything else to add on that, like for any up and coming women who might be a bit fearful of it?
I'd say to try and not be affected by if anyone tries to intimidate you, or even if they're not trying and they just do, or if anyone condescends you, just try and forget about it, because it doesn't mean anything. Like you just have to concentrate on what you're doing, and if you're passionate and still want to carry on after those incidents, then that's really good, and you should just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
as easy as that is. Be you.
Yeah, you and just kind of, but that's a good point, Caddy. It's not personal.
No, like most of the time it really isn't. That's what I've had to learn, is just to get over it.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, and you can choose your battles, can't you? It's like you could dwell on every comment.
Yeah.
Then you'd end up being pretty angry, or you could just feel sorry because they just are unaware of our extreme balance, you know. So and so girls, so you've already mentioned as well, obviously like with the pandemic now, which is been a massive shock to the system, especially for like promoters. And so yeah, Caitlin, do you want to jump in here? Like, so you've moved now a bit over to marketing as well, so like how did it all change for you and things?
Yeah, so my last gig I did was for Independent Venue Week last year, so it's a Hub Musicians UK fundraiser, and so that's like literally like the last time I actually proper promoted a gig. So it's just been like when everything happened, because I was planning, like, so I was going to do more gigs in like across the year, and just was planning all of that, and then just one after one, each like gig that I was thinking about was just, this isn't going to happen, this is going to happen, this isn't going to happen. So I was just thinking, right, what do I do now? Because I wanted to take this like full time for like 20, like for in 2020. So that just wasn't happening. So I just basically decided, right, okay, this is what I'm good at. These are the skills I can provide. So like doing marketing, like I know bands, so TJ Roberts, which are a brilliant band who I work with now with Rose Parade Recording, they had asked me at that gig, did I want to like co-manage them? So they were with Libertina Records at the time, and so Griff there was kind of managing them, but they wanted to have someone else who was like based where they were
Oh,
So it's like,
wow.
yeah, so right, I'm falling into this now. So
Oh, no.
I started like learning about that side and like actually more of like the recording part of the industry and like that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that was like really like a massive learning curve for me, like learning about like what's PRS, what's PPL, all
Yeah.
these like little things which a lot of musicians and artists don't really realize like when started out that that's a thing. So it was just a big learning curve for me. So just doing all that,
Yeah.
and then like doing marketing then for artists and
Mhm.
bands, so for releases and doing a little bit of PR and different things like that. So building from there now.
Yeah, so you basically, it sounds like you were sort of quick off the mark though to realize like, oh dear, I need to make changes here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think, yeah, so it was like a big shock, was there? And Stacey, what about you? Because you must have had loads of gigs booked in.
Yeah, I've worked officially twice in the last year, so great. But what I did was I sort of took what transferable skills I had and thought, where can I apply them elsewhere? Just sort of put my ear to the ground. There were lots of things popping up, like Caitlin, for example, started the Cardiff Intersectional Music Group and things like that. So it was just putting your feelers out there, seeing what was going on. And someone from my local area who is a sound engineer for Radio 3 put on Facebook, screw it, I'm going to start a radio station. Anyone a DJ in Penarth, which is where I live? And I was like, hello. And it turned out I knew them anyway from a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, oh, we can do this. And it was a way for me to do a DJ set legally online.
Yeah.
And because there's that as well, there's that element, people using Twitch and Facebook and Instagram Live and stuff. None of that is legal if you're playing other people's music because of licensing. So the only legal way is Mixcloud,
Right.
or we've got a PRS license and things for the station, so doing it that way as well. So that was my sort of route.
Right.
And then I got asked to be a director of the company, so we set it up as a community interest company, which is really interesting because I've never been like a businessy person before, so now I'm a businessy person too. So it's quite exciting.
Yeah.
And we've got a view to sort of training people up in all aspects of radio production and things, and DJing and stuff, and all things like that in the future. So it is, people in the creative industry are the most resilient people I know. They're called creative for a reason, and I think this pandemic has helped people find other venues to use those transferable skills and to make what they want happen to happen. You'll always find a way if you feel that passionate about it. So
that's great. And then actually when things start to go back to normal, it just gives you a bit of a pool of more options.
Exactly.
You can do things, make money, not do things,
Yeah, say no to stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah, that's definitely something I learned as well over lockdown. It's like, oh, well, actually, no, I don't really want to do that, But let's jump to I want to hear what Sian's got to say actually, because obviously Sian making music videos, lockdown hit. Like, could you sort of make videos with masks on and stuff? Like, what happened with you lot?
Yeah, that was a bit weird. Like, very gutting because like we had so many like projects like lined up, and then COVID came. I think especially at the beginning of the pandemic, we just decided to like cancel everything or like put it on hold.
Right.
So it was like complete shutdown. But then luckily, like a lot of the bands that we previously worked with, like when we shot music videos for them, we had loads of like B-roll footage. So like we noticed that a lot of bands were the same, like they wanted to gather content, but obviously they didn't know how. So luckily they were coming back to us asking us to use like the additional footage that we had to
Brilliant.
create like lyric videos or like band vlogs.
Mm-hmm.
And then like towards the middle of the pandemic, then we started to go out filming like slowly.
Right.
But yeah, I miss like the same with like gigs or just like ED, like like when we used to have like the Forte workshops and we'd meet in person. I'm very much like a people's person. I like touching and squeezing everyone. And like just even with like Forte, I miss that energy that you get because like especially going into the pandemic, I felt like I lost a lot of motivation. And
Mm,
eventually now, like this, because this is like unfortunately becoming our new norm,
mm.
finding that jig again now.
Yeah, yeah,
It's-
no. I think it's the social side of it has been, yeah, pretty intense, isn't it? Because it's like, because we're all doing, obviously, we're all doing self-motivated work as well. It's like
Mm.
we need to somewhere find that motivation. And, you know, a lot of the times we'll find motivation from going out. We'll be inspired by gigs, and people we meet and what they're doing. So, that's definitely been one of the trickier things, isn't it? Pulling it out the bag every day. All right, another banger. Okay, good luck. It's like, what am I gonna do? But Edie, and what about you, babe? Because you've been keeping on top of your social media, which is awesome, and like looks like you've been keeping yourself busy, definitely.
Definitely, yeah. I'm counting myself really lucky. Last year, you know, I was part of Forte, which was amazing. You know, I had that support going on throughout that year, leading to the end of the year, which was just like such an encouragement for me, and for my mental health, and adapting to the changes as well, because I think they did that really well. And like, you know, taking everything, you know, online and over Zoom, which was great. And then obviously with the music side of it, I just wanted it, you know, as an excuse for me to really get on my socials, to kind of write more music, release more music, and to know that there are people, either that aren't working or who are just sitting at home, not knowing what to do, who, you know, that's an audience for me to kind of jump on,
Yeah,
and be able to share my music with. So yeah, I just took it as an opportunity to do that. So I released music throughout throughout 2020,
yeah,
and then yeah, I was really lucky enough to just have quite a few projects just come in at the same time. So I was just keeping really busy amongst all the releases,
yeah,
working with people, working with different theatre companies. I, you know, managed to go up to London by the end of the year as well to work on another theatre project. So yeah, it's been quite a busy year. Obviously, adapting is the biggest thing that we've all had to do, I think, is just adapting to the way that we communicate with one another, how we are around each other. It's obviously really weird,
yeah,
because you know, I'm quite a chatty person in person, and obviously it's really hard to do that with masks on all the time,
yeah,
and like worrying about your spit.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
but yeah.
Ed, would you say that like you staying on top of being active, like having an active presence, do you think that in turn gave you more work as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Like just keeping on top of my socials and carrying on sharing stuff, letting people know that I'm here and I want to work on myself and I want to work on my own music.
Yeah,
I think that definitely, you know, gave me a window to like jump on other opportunities and for people to see that I'm working hard to try and
yeah,
make something out of the lockdown, which is
yeah. And
great.
that's what social media kind of is. That's a really good way of saying it. It's window, and it's
Yeah.
like you can either shut the curtains
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, have them open and welcome things in, and then that
Exactly.
way work is generated. And that's definitely the same for me as well, Leeds, you know. Like if I'm active on socials, then, you know, people want to come to the window and say
Yeah.
hello, you know. And what about you, Caddy? Like, was your life really affected by it?
Yeah, because can't play any gigs, can't
Yeah.
go to work like all of us, I guess. But on like maybe around August, started going into Sin again. We go into the office again because we could. Can't do that anymore, obviously. But I think the biggest one for me was band-wise. As Holy on Video with Sam, we couldn't play any gigs anymore. We felt we just started hitting our stride because we had like singles coming out that were planned, and then we had to release everything virtually. We did a lot of live streaming and we did some stuff with Horizons, which was great, but it's just not the same and you don't get the thrill of it. And you can't actually meet new people really that way, apart
Yeah.
from commenting on other people's things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that but the one positive thing for me is the time that we haven't spent performing. We've written more songs, which is great. I've had a lot of time to pursue my art bracket of life, so I've done loads of my art side of things, but I really do miss performing. That is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I'd do anything to be in a sway crowd right now.
Bring back the mosh pit.
Yeah, very mosh pit.
Oh, whoa. Oh, Caddy, that's good though. So you like, yeah, I think I had that kind of approach as well. It was like all shows cancelled, all workshops cancelled, everything cancelled. I had also some really cool European trips cancelled. But I just thought, you know what, this is a chance to just dive in now and learn some new skills, you know, write, like work on. I even did a bit of art, which I'm not an artist in any way, shape or form, but I definitely like drawing, and like it sort of gave me an excuse to do these things. I started reading again, which is much better than being on your phone before bed, let me tell you. So usually I'd be on my phone, like, you know, lying in bed, doing emails, 1 a.m. Now it's like reading books, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, I think a lot of people have been saying that, like, obviously lockdown's had some really, it's been really nasty, especially for some of my mates who are like, their income is playing. So like maybe not in like artist bands, but like, you know, sort of function gigs and things like that. They've really been in trouble. But for a lot of people, they've kind of thought, oh, right, I'm going to go for it with this now, go for it with this. And it's actually opened a few more doors, you know. It's what they say, isn't it? Life isn't what happens to you, it's how you react to it. So at the end of the day, it's always up to us, you know, how we're going to respond to that. But yeah, so yeah, no, thanks, ladies. Well, I'm glad everyone's kind of managed to find some bit of positivity in it, and hopefully the things that you guys have done and achieved this year, they'll continue into different things into 2021. So also they'll, you know, our audience now who's watching us, young women and, you know, guys who might be dreaming of a job in the industry somehow, whether that's art, making videos, making music, social media, whatever. So this is a question you'll be like, oh, give me a minute to think. I want to know, girls, like one bit of wisdom. So like, what advice do you wish that you were given when, say, you were like just about, you know, when you were just deciding, you know what, I would like to have a career in music? Like, what is that one piece of advice that you wish you'd heard when you were like a teenager or whatever it might be? Does anyone definitely know? Yeah, go on, Stacey. Yeah, you do.
I guess it's something I've had to struggle with, like, even I'm 33 now, and
right.
I feel like even now I'm like questioning myself, and it goes back to the imposter syndrome and all things like that. It's, you have to be authentic in everything that you do. Be you. No one else can do what you do as well as you can, if that makes sense. You know, people think I'm crazy, skitty, quirky, whatever, and I used to be like, oh my god, no, I want people to think I'm cool. And then it's like, yeah, I'm 33, I got 2 kids, I am definitely not cool, I'm a mom, you know. And it's just like, screw it, you just be yourself. And I think when you're happier, you become more productive. And you can channel that authenticity to make something a better thing for yourself. And then all these opportunities do come, and people want to work with you if you are yourself as well, because there's too many fake people online and stuff, especially when this is the only way we can communicate. If you meet someone who is authentic online, then, you know, you're like, yeah, let's collaborate, let's work together and things like that. So be authentic to yourself.
I could not agree with you more on that point, Stacey, as well. Like, I remember someone told me once, they were like, because I went on the radio, I can't remember what it was, and I was all like Welsh, and I think it was like a Radio 1 thing. Hi, I'm Rachel, la, 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 la. And then and I remember my managers at the time were like, so nice one, love, but you're so uncool. And I was just like mortally offended. And it, you know, because everyone else then on the radio, hi, yeah, what's your name? Salt, you know, like, I'm just making it up now, but you know, like they're on the radio, and then someone will be saying, oh, so how did the release come together? You know, yeah, so we're just in the studio, and you know, there's a good vibe, and it's like, that is so boring. Like, who wants to listen to that, you know? And it's sort of, and I remember thinking, and now I don't, like, I'm over it now, obviously. I'm like, fine, you know, like you said, I don't want to be cool anyway. I just want to be me. And you can spend a long time in life trying to be something that you'll never be able to sustain because it's not truly you. So I think I've said this before when someone's asked me, and I just think, yeah, no matter how goofy you think you are, you know, there's room in the world for everybody. If everybody was the same person, how boring would that? Imagine that interview if it had been the presenter as well being like, so how did the album come about? And then that would just be terrible, you know. So it's like, it's one of the beautiful things, and I feel like I actually think now, the internet, as horrible a place as it can be, it is a place where there is room for everybody, and like finding your little niche and your little space. And whether that has to be, you know, obviously you do need to try and like carve in your little niche. So why not be as most you as you possibly can be, you know, because you've got to slot in somewhere. So it's like, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more about that. And just kind of trusting in yourself, isn't it? Like, do what you want to do, trust in that, and just follow that dream and work hard to get there. And then things kind of work out all right in the end, I think. So let's go to Sian, actually. So Sian, what about you? It can be a sentence, it can be a story, like.
Just to add on like what Stacey said, I think, yeah, it's so important to just be yourself, because especially like when I was starting off with like Trigger Happy or just like with Forte, what I used to think were my weaknesses were like my biggest strengths.
Oh, wow.
Like I used to think that you know, Lou, when we're out filming, if something happens and someone's like really upset, he's very like stoic, and he will have like the logical response, like, you know, we need to do this, we need to do that. But then I am completely the opposite. I am so emotional. But now I just look at it like I am an empathetic person. So, you know, like sometimes people just aren't feeling themselves, like when it comes to the day of the shoot, and it's just understanding and, you know, just vibing off them. And yeah, it's like what you said as well, Rachel, just like finding your niche, because I feel like when you're your authentic self, that's when you'll attract like your own tribe. Like now I have all of my friends now that, you know, they all support me, I support them. And yeah, it's just knowing that, like, I don't know, sometimes as creatives I can say a lot of like self-deprecating things, but now I just write it all down and look at positive ways.
Yeah.
But,
and it's funny, is I love that your weaknesses are like your strengths as well. And this relates as well, especially to teenagers. Like, well, my little niece, she's not quite a teenager, even though she thinks she is, right? I adore her to pieces. But, you know, she's on TikTok a lot and always, you know, wanting to like get followers, which is quite horrifying, to be honest. But then, you know, it's just the culture today, isn't it? And I try to say to her, I'm like, babe, thing is, you're doing what everyone else is doing. So how is anyone going to spot you? You're doing the same dances and the same, and it all comes down to, but when you're a teenager, all you want to do is blend in, I guess, don't you? So it's like, I guess, not being afraid when you're a teenager. So if someone's watching this and all your friends have told you your music's too wacky and too out there, and they need to make it a bit more like the TikTok tracks, then this is the point where you need to be like, no, I think this is cool and I'm going to do it. But obviously it's kind of hard to find that inner strength to pursue that. But
as well, isn't it? Because like I feel like everyone expects to be like an overnight success, but I remember speaking to like Julie Weir, who's like this artist manager, and she said that it takes like 10-20 years to become an overnight success, because, you know, like Caddy, what you were saying, you have to do a bit of everything, really. Like every artist, when they're starting off for their own, they have to treat themselves like a business and do everything and learn everything. And then it's only when you get signed, or, you know, if you decide to go down that route when you have a team, that's when you don't have to worry about it. But I feel like, especially with TikTok, Rachel, like everyone, you know, they get like those viral hits, so everyone expects to just have one like that straight away. It's the big one.
It's actually a very dangerous culture, and I don't want to get started on it, but like, as we all know, it can be, you know, it's actually quite worrying. Like, luckily, girls, we've managed to skip being a teenager in TikTok days, you know, but like, it's this culture of like instant fame, you know, when if the instant fame, you might get it, right? You might be one of these really lucky people who goes viral, but if you don't have that unique niche thing and authenticity to back it up, it will last as long as it takes to come, if that makes sense. I've had friends who've been on the reality TV programs and exactly the same. They've had the overnight success and then it's just disappeared, like, so it's gone like whoop and then straight back down. Whereas like me, I've been on my journey, 10 years, slow, but like at least now I'm at a place where it's like, oh cool, like I have a cool studio and can wake up every day whatever time I like, so it's kind of like the slow burn is actually not a bad thing, I think. So but yeah, sorry, I'm chatting away you. I meant to be the host. Right, let's go to Caddy now. So Caddy, what would be your words of wisdom?
I think mine are basically on the same theme of what we've been talking about. I think we live in a world where most people are trying to be the same person and it's aspiring to be this one like Barbie doll thing, where you should really just stop worrying about everyone else and stop thinking about what everyone else is doing. And I think when you get there, I mean, I'm not perfect, I'm not saying I'm like that, but when you stop worrying about everyone else, you will be as most original as you can be then, and then you'll start producing the best music and the best art, and you start being way happier in yourself, I think.
Yeah, comparison.
Basically what everyone else has been saying, but different words.
No, but that's a slightly different take on it, because that's that quote, isn't it? Comparison is the thief of joy. I read that
you just
quote.
stop comparing yourself to everyone else because you're you for a reason and no one else is like you, so really just go with that and like find joy in the fact that there is no other you and just be you, and then other people might try and aspire to be you eventually, like that's the weird cycle.
That's great, Caddy. You put that perfect. Like the only comparing you should be doing is to your older self and how you progressed. And it's like, if you do it like that, then you're always rewarding yourself and not comparing yourself to unrealistic expectations and somebody who's gone viral for their cat singing out of tune upside down.
I also have a theory that actually nobody is cool. Like I feel like everyone is really lame, and that's okay. I like that. I love being lame. And, like no one's actually cool.
No one's cool. I know. And these days it is better to be a fool, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Can't win, really. So Edie, what about you, babe? Because you've done a lot, haven't you? You, like you said, you had quite a bit of experience when you were a teenager doing the iStepFods and things, didn't you? And like I think that must have set you up actually for this industry. Actually,
I think it definitely gave me like those first steps and prepared me. But I don't think anything's going to prepare you enough for the amount of changes that go on every day with the music industry, with social media, like we're saying with TikTok. But I think the point is like if you're passionate about whatever you do, whether it's a music career, whether it's filming, whatever it is, then there shouldn't be anything stopping you, and that your passion is your journey, and to embrace each part of that. And not to get discouraged when you feel down about different parts of your journey, which is what I've experienced just growing up, from being in a rural part of Wales where not much goes on except for the iStepFods, and then moving to somewhere where it's a bit more busy and maybe I don't feel like I'm doing as well. So yeah, just to kind of embrace each part of it and like really, feel proud about where you are in life, wherever you are.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's really cool. Because there are a lot of steps, isn't there, girls? Even if you think about, okay, you might be able to write on paper, did this, did that, did this. But it's also like each of those did this and did that. There was like a bit of a backbone to it, isn't it? Whether it's like Stacey working in the record shop, like little things like that. So, and that is something that we do forget to do, is embrace these little steps, and like you said, the passion is the forefront thing, and then the other things that can get you down are actually things that aren't probably directly related to that passion. That's what I've had to overcome as well. So like when I've had times of things being really tough, And then when I think about it, it's always things that I can't control and not the actual music. That's the thing that I'm doing it for, you know? So yeah,
Yeah.
90s. Cool. And let's go to Caitlin finally.
I think like 3 words is a go for it. Just that's really like, if I could go back to when I was a teenager thinking about what I wanted to do, and particularly at uni, when there was this point where I really wanted to start an indie night, and for whatever reason, like I really wanted to do it, but I just never got around to do it because my confidence just got in my way completely. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to be capable to do this. I can't DJ, I can't do this. So I was thinking about all the I can'ts and never really thinking about like what I could do. And so I think coming to starting Clue, it was literally just right, okay, so one of my favorite bands, like Hers, and they were a wonderful band, and they passed away in a really tragic car accident on tour in America, and they were around the same age as me. And I was just thinking, if I don't do this now, when am I going to do it? And like, I'd just be wasting my life regretting not doing something. So yeah, I just went for it, and that's the main thing you can do, is just go for it.
Wow. Caitlin, that was perfect words of wisdom to like finish that part on, because that's like a deeper thing, isn't it? Life is bloody short. Like, you know, somebody I know actually passed away. He was an agent, really young, like 35, like in like a couple of months ago, like having a really great career in the industry, and got really, really sick. And gosh, it's like heartbreaking. I couldn't stop thinking about it for weeks. I actually went on a few dates with him a few years back, so it felt really close to home. And it just reminded me, like, shit, like life is actually really short, and you don't know what could happen from one day to the next. And it's funny, Caitlin, that you said like your friends not happening, and just you being like, oh God, I don't want to live a life of regret. I'm just going to bloody do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's horrible, but the really hard things in life is what kicks you up the arse to just actually do what you want to do. Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Whoa, okay. So on a lighter note, everybody watching, hope you're not crying too much. Yeah, so obviously, because it's Independent Venue Week, I thought we thought a cool way to wrap up our session would be to share a little story of like one of your favorite memories from an independent venue. So yeah, have a little think, girls. What's the best gig do you think you've been to or played? And share the memory with us. I mean, I have quite a few. One being Monkey Bar in Swansea. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
I used to love Monkey Bar. Sorry.
Great, bring back Monkey.
Yeah.
Bring back Monkey. I know, it was so cute. Did you go there, Caddy, as well? Yeah.
Every night that I'd be sad on a night out, my friends would be like, Caddy, do you want to go to Monkey instead? And then we just go to Monkey, and then I'd be fine. All problem solved.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't the nicest place in the world, let's be honest, but it was great. But yeah, I loved it.
Nicer than, what's it called? Walkabout, though. Thank God.
Oh, yeah.
Gone. Yeah, I'm glad
Sad.
that's gone. But yeah, Monkey Bar was like one of the first places I ever did a gig, actually.
Wow.
There's a video of it somewhere. Someone sent it to me the other day. I was like, let that soon on the internet. Like from an old phone. I was like, no, yeah, terrible. My like first ever like music band venture. But yeah, that place I remember. I don't know what it was, but we had like a full packed out crowd. Now you girls know like what it can be like sometimes with gigs. Sometimes you get great audience, sometimes you get no audience, sometimes you get an audience who are half asleep. Well, this was a packed out audience, which actually had loads of energy as well. So yeah, and like I said, it was like my first ever gig. So the feeling was just awesome. I remember what I was wearing, a really terrible pink zebra print dress.
Amazing.
I'm glad that's disappeared as well. Yeah. So, what about you, Caddy? Like, what's your first or favorite gig memory?
I think favorite gig memory that's personal to me is when I supported Holy Video, my band supported Ferris and Sylvester last year during Independent Venue Week, to bring it back around to the theme.
Yeah.
And I loved them, and I remember like messaging Gary and being like, please get them to play Sin, and he did. And then he was like, do you want to support them? And I was like, yes.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was my favorite gig that I've played. It was the best audience we've had, and then it was awesome to support someone that I actually loved as well. And then we met them at the end, and yeah, I was not a fangirl at all. I was trying to be as calm as I could, but failed. Definitely failed. But yeah, that's probably my favorite one.
And then that's really cool that the link came from you working at Sin as well.
Yeah, because I could just be like, oh, there's this cool band, Gary, and Gary knew about them anyway as well, and he was like, let's get them to play, and then they did, and it was all magical. So yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. I love that. And what about you, Edie?
I think any gig at Goody Who, it was like leaving home and then going home. It's like where I felt the most comfortable. I just absolutely loved it there. It had such a homely vibe, the back area where you could just chill out.
Yeah.
It's just such a perfect venue, and I'm so gutted it's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of the gigs I did there were just so lush. Yeah, they were just so amazing.
Yeah, it was a very attentive audience, wasn't it, Goody?
Yeah.
I think I played there a couple of times as well. It's in Cardiff, isn't it? And it's where is it again? It's like behind. Where was it?
Behind the Motor Point. So
yeah, by the
Guildford
MCP.
Guildhall. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, no, Goody Who was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, so good.
Cutest Welsh word as well.
Yeah, it was so nice.
So almost as good as what's guinea pig? Mochen Cutter.
Yeah.
That one. That is how you say it, Eats.
I think so. Yeah. Say it again.
Mochen Cutter.
I think so. I'm sure there's another word for it as well, but yeah.
Oh, is there? Yeah, I don't know if it's CWTA. How cute is that?
Yeah.
Well, apparently it's guinea pig anyway. So, and Stacey, what about you? Because you've obviously played like a load of gigs.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my home from home is Club in Cardiff. That is my, that is where I've probably had the longest residency pretty much for my whole DJing career. And New Year's Eve there are always the best. So I was very sad to not be there this New Year's Eve. But probably my favourite gig I've ever played was I DJ'd with Anna Pryor, the drummer from Metronomy. And I love Metronomy, they're like one of my favourite bands. And that was upstairs in 10 Feet Tall in 2012, I think it was. And she came in and I was like, oh my God, she's so cool. I was just like literally freaking out. And I was like, oh, I've got all my really cool indie tunes to play, whatever. And then she just whacked on 90s girly R&B. And I was like, okay, if we're going to go down this road, and we just had the best time.
Oh, wow.
Kay, who I'm in Guild Talk with, she was like, here's some Prosecco. This is before we DJ'd together. And we were just necko the Prosecco, having a lovely time, dancing around to girly R&B. It was amazing.
Did you Did you DJ back to back?
Yeah, we were going like back to back, and then I was like, I'll be back now, and she's playing a bit, and then I think like DJing that way as well is a lot nicer because it's slightly more stressful because you've got less time, but it makes it more fluid because you don't have to think, what have they played for the last 20 minutes or half an hour? What do I have to do next?
Yeah.
So it's just, we were vibing off each other and we just like the same things. So it's perfect.
Yeah. 10 Feet Tall was cool as well. Is that place still there?
No.
It's now closed.
Oh, don't mention it.
Yes.
Bad vibes in there.
Is it? Oh, God.
I always feel like I've got the kiss of death because I worked at Goody Who before it closed and also 10 Feet Tall before it closed.
Don't say that publicly, Caitlin, for God's sake.
Sorry.
Get away from Sin.
Yes, keep me away.
Also, don't discredit yourself because that's not true.
Yeah. Oh, babe. So, Caitlin, you had some fun times at 10 Feet Tall as well.
Yeah, well, I started there in well, it was like November 2019. So yeah, like the times that we had there, like when I came in, like they were really good, but it just came to a very sad, mature end. Very early end, so it was very sad. But yeah, Goody Who I absolutely adored. So like having not being able to go there, like really sucks. So yeah.
Yeah.
I just think like trying to think of like bands and gigs that I've been to like since 2017 when I think 2017 to 2018 I must have gone to at least 100 gigs.
Whoa.
Like way over that. Like I was pretty much at 2, sometimes 3, 4 gigs a week, and I don't know how I'd have managed that now.
Oh my goodness.
But I think to go back to the independent venue week theme, I think doing that gig at the Moon, so the gig was originally meant to be at 10 Feet Tall, but obviously 10 Feet Tall closed, and the Moon, who were amazing, had a spot left and were like, yeah, come do the gig here. So shout out to Liz, who is a
Liz, yeah.
Love you, Liz.
owner, promoter, just a wonderful human being. And yeah, so put it on there, had a really great turnout, and everyone was just really supportive and lovely, and made a lot of money for help musicians as well, so that's always good.
That's really cool, Caitlin. There are some like really cute little venues. The Moon is like a really cute venue, isn't it? It's got like such a unique like shape. But that's where me and Edie first met, isn't it, Eds?
Yeah, I supported you. That was a great gig.
Oh yeah, that was like sort of early in my like touring journey as well. And I did you come to the workshop I did before, Eds?
I don't think I did. No, I didn't. No.
Oh yeah, maybe because you were playing, so you probably needed to like, you know, like arrive and stuff from the valleys. So oh wow. And we'll go to Sian now. So Sian, do you film gigs as well?
A lot of the time, I think mainly like even if I'm going to enjoy a gig, I like to take my camera just, you know, because I may as well take advantage of the opportunity. And
Yeah.
I think my favourite one is probably in club upstairs. Panic Shack were supporting this band called Amyl and the Sniffers. And I had no idea who Amyl and the Sniffers were before. But I took my camera anyway because I was taking photos of the girls because they were supporting them. And then I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll stay. Sorry, I'll stay. And then they started then. And then there was like a full-on like mosh pit. And we just bought our new camera and I took it.
Oh.
And I just remember like trying to take photos of like Amy, the lead singer, and like these like big gone like 40-year-old like sweaty men were like banging into me.
Oh my god.
And then like this one guy, he was like huge, and I fell to the floor. But then he was like, oh, "Are you okay?" And he picked me up, and then he was just like, "Ah." I was like, "This is great," because like I used to be so scared of mosh pits. I was like, "Fuck that!" Am I going near there? But then like when you're in it, like
it was great.
That family like having a scramble.
Oh my
God, a scramble.
Oh, now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's yeah. So that was my favorite one in club.
Were you still holding the camera though?
Yeah, I remember like falling, and my initial thought was like, "Fuck!" I was just holding my arm up so they
Like
can't.
holding your arm in the air. Oh my god. Oh wow.
I love that one. And now they're like one of my favorite bands, I think.
Oh really? Just from that event? That's so cool. Yeah, club is great. Like what an amazing venue that is. And also, yeah, like we were on tour, and I think club was our Cardiff venue, and it was like really noticeable the treatment we got. We had like, you know, nice green room, nice drinks, like dinner money, like everything, like awesome sound engineer, Josh from, my memory's so bad, girls. What are they called? Boyzuga, was our engineer, and yeah, just the whole night was, the sound was awesome in there. So yeah, it is a great venue, club is. I think I played one rave there as well, New Year's, I think. Drum and bass rave.
Nice.
back in the day, yeah. And do you remember think I even played Cardiff Student Union once as well with a drum and bass rave, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it makes me feel old now. I'm like, all these venues. Oh yes, oh yes. Oh, yes. But oh wow, girls. Well, I've got to say, like, just hosting this session has been really cool, chatting to you all, and like, yeah, learning all about your experiences and all from different areas as well. And I think to summarize, like, just to show is, you know, there are a lot of opportunities out there in Wales. And I think the beautiful thing about Wales is it's small. So, you know, you can climb to the top and then, you know, go as far as you want to go, really, being in this country. And I really feel now, obviously I did do my little stint in London, but I don't need to go there unless it's for like a meeting. You definitely can live, I think, wherever you are right now, especially we've got like who was it earlier said the window of the social media and just getting yourselves out there. Obviously still the networking when COVID goes away is always good to do, get that human interaction. But, you know, like people think, oh, Wales, you know, there's not much going on there. Well, actually, there is a lot going on. And it's actually, I think, easier to make a mark in the music scene because it's smaller. Even things like BBC Introducing, you know, like London, when we've been to those chats, they have like millions and millions and millions of people sending in their, you know, in Wales, you get more of a shot, I think, to like make a mark. And I think it's something that, oh, well, I'm definitely chuffed and I'm proud of to be here doing my music career. So, and I think you girls seem pretty happy with and would agree. So, yeah, so thank you so much, girls, for joining us. And hope everybody who's watching has enjoyed hearing our stories. Obviously, we've got some links, so check out the links if you want to stalk the girls a little bit more. I'm sure the girls wouldn't mind, and me, you know, if you want to tweet away, if you've got any burning questions that you need to have answered or you will die, I'm sure we'll be happy to take any questions on Twitter or so. Yeah, girls, what are your social handles? Just if you've got any. I might follow you all now. Why not, hey? I know. So what's yours, Sian?
Oh, I think the best one for me would be Trigger Happy Creative.
Trigger Happy Creative, yeah.
Anybody wants to tag along on a music video when we can film, then you're more than welcome.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. Yeah. And what about you, Stacey? You're Girl Talk DJs, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm also my own moniker, Press Play with Stacey, because once at the Cardiff Music Awards, I got told all I did was press play for a living. So,
okay,
Stacey, have a lovely time doing it.
Okay, Press Play with Stacey. I'm making a note of that now. And Caddy, what's yours? Or is it your band name that you
There'll be two for me. So my band would be Holy Home Video, HOLY, then Home Video.
Yeah.
And my art one is just Art X Caddy, my name.
Art X Caddy, cool man. And then we've got and Caitlin, what's yours? Where's best for people to look you up?
So you can find me at CLW The Music on all social medias.
I love that. So Stacey, do you speak Welsh?
Who, me?
Oh, sorry, Caitlin, do you speak Welsh?
I don't know. No,
Yeah.
I'm more of the standard learner. Who
Yeah.
occasionally does Duolingo now and again, but should do a lot more.
Yeah, oh gosh. And then, well, Edie, you are a Welsh speaker, aren't you, Eads?
I am, yeah. And my
Yeah.
handle is Edith Official on pretty much everything.
Edith Official, yeah, wicked. Oh, amazing. Well, big thanks to Sin City for having us. And we wish you loads of luck, girls, in your career. And yeah, see you next time. Mwah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, happy Independence